Hello folks, welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're currently in the Black Square Barren, and in this video I'm going to give you my top 5 things that I hate and love about the Pimax Crystal. I've had the headset now for well over a month and, well, nearly 2 months actually. Wow, that's gone fast. So I've got a good handle on what I love and what I hate. So we're going to get straight into this video. Okay, so let's start with the things I don't like about the Pimax Crystal. And I'll do this in order of the worst I will save to last, if that makes sense. So, number 1, I really don't like that when you pick up the headset, more times than not, you will hit the button for the IPD, which is in the most stupid position ever. It's at the top left-hand side of the headset. So, you know, you get used to it after a while, but even then, I actually did it just before this video. I'll just pick the headset up and immediately change my IPD by accident. So Pimax, if you are watching this, please maybe provide an option so that once you've got your IPD set, you can use those buttons for something else, or perhaps just disable them in the software, because that is really annoying. So that's my number 1. And remember, number 5 is going to be the thing I hate the most. So number 2 has to be the weight of the headset and just the overall size of it. Don't get me wrong, this is a surprisingly comfortable device. Like, I've now achieved a 3-hour session with this headset and I haven't had any issues at all. But bear in mind, as I've said before in many other videos, I do often wear a motorcycle helmet, so that doesn't really bother me in terms of the weight, and the balance is very good. However, comparing this to other headsets like the Vari Aero and perhaps the Reverb G2, and even, which is probably a bit unfair, the big screen Beyond, this is big. And I'm not sure it really needs to be this large, considering it doesn't have such a massive wide field of view like the 8KX does. I mean, I think the headset looks great, and it is comfortable, but it has to be said, in this day and age, as we're getting into 2023, I think headsets are now starting to get smaller. I really do think that for the next generation of Pimax headsets, they need to think of a solution to trim that weight down, especially the size, in my opinion. It's certainly not a deal breaker, but it has to be said that this is a big headset, without a doubt. And I think if you've got a sort of weak neck, or if you've got a small head, in fact I'll put a picture of Melissa wearing it, and as you can see it looks quite funny on her head because her head is really small compared to mine. You know, it might be a bit of an issue for you. Right then, number 3 has to go to the general trust issues with Pimax. Now, there's been a few members on my Discord channel that are not happy with their crystals because they've come with plastic lenses. Now, I have not used plastic lenses with this headset, but it seems that with them you get more chromatic aberration. And really, I think for people who have pre-ordered, they should be receiving glass lenses. Now, by the time this comes out, maybe it's been resolved, but I do think that it's things like that that really niggle me with Pimax, and I hope that over time they can really, you know, improve their customer service, because it really is still an area that definitely needs some improvements. I mean, the headset itself absolutely friggin' rocks, guys. Like, just to talk about the Crystal itself, it's absolutely friggin' amazing. But with that, you have to consider the company and, you know, how it handles its customer service, how it handles issues with sending headsets back and all that kind of thing. And I do think Pimax still has a ways to go with that. And that's why it's made my top 3 things I not necessarily don't like about the headset, but it is a factor that you need to consider. With the likes of, you know, other companies, I think Pimax do need to improve the way they deal with replacement headsets and just the general communication to the customer. So number 4 has to be smart smoothing or motion reprojection, which for some reason isn't working unless I'm doing something wrong, which could be possible. But yeah, it's quite strange, simply because the 8KX and the 5KS all work really well with Pimax's smart smoothing technology, and it's very good usually. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like, but at the time of this recording it's not working, and it's a big deal for me because I am a motion reprojection fan, as you know. So my last thing, the really big thing that I really actually hate about this headset, I mean, it must be said, I really don't like this, and that is the fact this does need a battery. Now, it's something that isn't noticeable all the time because most of my VR sessions are no longer than, say, 2.5 to 3 hours, and you know, one battery will last at least 3 hours, and then you can hot swap it and get another 3 hours or more, and that is with the fiber optic cable. Things may change over time, and Pimax are actually looking at getting nearly 8 hours worth of flying time, shall we say, with a battery. I'm not sure they're going to achieve that, to be honest, and I think 3 or 4 hours is still very good, but if you consider this is a wired headset, I don't know, it does niggle me a lot. I don't like it. I'm just trying to imagine what would this headset be like if it was like the Aero, where you just used it all the time without any battery at all. Now maybe in the future, you know, once the wireless technology works correctly and we've got WiGig, I might rave about the fact that I can use this headset wirelessly with really nice visual clarity. So it's something, again, that might change over time, and it certainly makes the headset very versatile if you consider it's got an XR2 chipset, so you can play Beat Saber on this if you want to, although I'm not sure I'd recommend that. Overall, the battery is the thing I dislike the most. Right then, so cabin temperature is 19 degrees, pitot heat is now off, prop sync is on. All looking very good in the Baron. And let's now talk about the things that I love, the 5 top things that I love about this VR headset. So the first one is the fact that this headset has absolutely fantastic audio quality. Right up there with the best now. The DMAS floating ear design is, in fact, I've forgotten how much I've missed it, because your head keeps nice and cool because you don't have actual headphones on your head, yet you get all the benefits of a really good quality audio. I strongly feel that most VR manufacturers should include an audio solution with their headset, especially one like this. It is absolutely fantastic. Top marks to Pimax for the DMAS speakers. They're brilliant. Number 2, the field of view in this is really, really good. Like, the vertical field of view is basically, as far as I can see, I mean, maybe there's a slight bit of black bar on the bottom, but when I look right with my eyes at the top there to the sky, I'm really craning my eyes and I can't see anything other than sky. And to the left and right, we've got about 102-ish degrees vertically, which is plenty. I think that's perfectly adequate, I really do. And compared to the likes of the G2 and the Aero, in fact, any other headset apart from, say, the 8KX and maybe the Valve Index, it is very, very nice indeed. Number 3 has to be the local dimming. It is spectacular, especially as you even have options for different levels of local dimming, whether you want it to be extreme, balanced, or very light. And I tell you what, when you switch the lights off, like I'm going to do now, in fact, I've been doing a lot of night flying, but I don't tend to show it on YouTube because you can't really see much. But that right here, it just looks amazing. I mean, it's not quite up there with true OLED, but I mean, really, it is very, very close. Like, probably 90% what you get from an OLED panel. The only reason why I say 90% is because there is a little bit of blooming, but it's not a big deal at all, considering what this is doing here. It really feels pitch black, especially when you look out into the sky there. It's just amazing. Very, very impressive. In fact, it was one of them things that I didn't really understand what the big deal was with local dimming, and people kept going on about it with the Aero, and you know, they're so disappointed and I understand why now, why it hasn't been implemented. Anyway, back to daylight again. The crunch time now. The top 2 things that I love about the Pimax Crystal. Well, this seems like a strange one, okay? But it's the microphone. Honestly, as a YouTube content creator, it is an absolute joy recording with the Crystal. And it's another reason why you're going to see a lot of this headset on the channel, because it's so easy to record. And funny enough, because of the extra weight, it also means that there's less jitters when I talk. In fact, I think you'll agree the VR image is pretty damn decent. But that microphone is so far the best that I've ever heard from any VR headset, period. And now for the final best thing that I love about the Pimax Crystal, and it's pretty damn obvious, and I could have easily have made this into 5 points, but I've made it into 1, and that is the visual quality of the display. And that includes the lenses. I could have made that separate, but there's so many things I do love about the Pimax Crystal. That's why I've just made this into 1 point. You know, the spherical lenses together with the QLED panel and that resolution 35 pixels per degree means that this is, without question, the best VR image I've ever seen from a consumer headset. Absolutely, it's just beautiful, and it blows apart anything else I've ever seen. I'm not going to go too much into that because I think you already know that by now, guys. But yeah, it really is a sight to behold. It really is totally worth the price of the headset alone, because it's just absolutely incredible. I think, you know, the colours together with the field of view and the, you know, resolution and the lenses and the fact there's no distortions at all, it is superb. And that also goes with the lack of Mura, which is very much apparent in the production unit, and the binocular overlap, which makes the headset feel much nicer on the eyes. So really, that is it for this video. Please do let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts on this and all things VR, really. I really do appreciate your support, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care, and bye for now.